here on First Things First, we're going viral. Eufaula lost its Alabama State Championship game by 1 point in overtime. High school senior Terrell Jones had incredible words after the game. Take a listen.
This is great.
It's been a long time since, Eufaula has been in the state championship. And since day one, I remember the first day Coach Smith came to gym, he told me, he said, if you want to be a state champion, you got to be different. Everybody can't be a state champion. And I never forget a word that man said to me. And each and every second that wind down, I was just thinking, I got to be different. I got to separate myself. I got to separate myself to show that I'm different, because I wanted to be a state champion. And we fell 1 point short. But I know all of those young guys in that locker room, they have a bright future, because everything that I've been through, they're going through, and they still have to go through. So it's only going to make them better. And this man right there is the best coach I ever had in my life. I wouldn't trade him for the world.
That's awesome.
Brought him to tears.
That was awesome.
Very, very nice.
Kid's 17, 18 years old.
Wise beyond his years.
Good stuff. That was great. That was great. That was all over the internet yesterday. I'm glad we got that on the show.
Yep,
That's awesome.
sure.
Young man.
All right.
And that's in a loss, by the way.
I know.
I mean, they lose
and a
the
really
game.
tough
Right.
loss,
Lose
too.
a game like that. That was great.
Time now for some stories to start your morning. Big milestone for Carmelo Anthony last night. He passed Jerry West, became the 20th all-time leader in scoring in the NBA. Nick, how will Melo's career be remembered?
I hope it's remembered as one of the best pure scorers the league's ever seen. I mean, he now has more points than Clyde Drexler, more points, you mentioned Jerry West, more points than Charles Barkley and Allen Iverson. This guy has been a great scorer. His teams have had high-level success. He's gotten a lot of blame for that. I don't know. I think that's partially fair, partially unfair. This guy is going to walk into the Hall of Fame as a national champion in college, a gold medal winner, and maybe one day an NBA champion, but doesn't look like it right now.
Maybe. Where are you going to get a championship?
I don't know. He's not retiring. He's not retiring. We could see where he ends up. We could see where he ends up in the next few years.
No one thinks Melo's going to be a champion.
Not certainly as a top player, but I mean, guys grab titles at the end of their career sometimes.
Yeah, we don't give him credit for that.
Okay.
If you're a top 20 scorer and you go on your 15th, 16th year, you're a bench player playing for someone, I think that people will still look at him.
Okay, well, how will you remember him?
As a scorer only. I mean, what else is he? That's what he does. He scores the basketball. And typically, because he's a scorer, people like to look at other things. Well, he didn't win a championship. Well, look at the championship. Look at San Antonio's dominance. Look at Golden State. Look at LeBron James. His career mirrors LeBron James's. So his scoring is the thing that people should talk about. One of the most prolific scorers that we've seen in NBA history. That's what it should be.
All right, moving on. The Blazers beat the Knicks last night. 111-87 was your final. Damian Lillard leading the way with 37 points, including 8 three-pointers. So the Blazers, they're currently the 3 seed in a very tightly packed Western Conference right now. Nick, what do you think? Does Damian Lillard get overlooked when it comes to the best players in the NBA?
Well, listen, I mean, he's not one of the, if we're talking about the 10 best players in the league, he's not one of those guys, but he's in that next crop of players, and he is not being as overlooked now as he had been in the past. Cece mentioned it earlier. The last 3 MVPs in the Western Conference, or the last three MVPs in the league, play point guard in the Western Conference. Like, so that's who he's competing with. But the more they win, if they go deep into the playoffs where he is clearly the best player on a team, which was not the case last time they went deep in the playoffs when LaMarcus Aldridge was there, he will get the recognition he deserves.
And not only those previous MVPs are from the West, but this year's MVP is going to be from the West in Harden. So they have phenomenal players. He just happens to be playing in a time where Golden State is going to get most of the attention. But he's a phenomenal player. Typically, when you're good like this during the regular season, the only way to get attention is by pulling some big, huge upset in the playoffs. So that's what his career is lacking, a huge upset over a great team in one of the rounds in the Western Conference.
All right, let's stay out west. Don't look now, but the Pelicans. Yep, that's the whole thought. They defeated the Clippers behind a monster night from Anthony Davis last night. He had 41 points. He had 13 boards. That despite leaving the game with a rib contusion. He did return, though. Pelicans have now won 9 straight, all without Boogie Cousins in the lineup. Cece, can Anthony Davis pass Harden for the MVP?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he can pass Harden. Harden has too much momentum going, and Harden happens to be on the team that is the best in the NBA with the best record. So I believe that will play some weight. But when we start having conversations for who is the best big man in basketball, it should start with the brow in New Orleans with the Pelicans. More impressive, how well him and Boogie Cousins were playing together. And then Boogie gets hurt. I mean, he ups his game another level to be able to carry this team to 9 straight. We talked about teams that potentially being disappointing. Now, this is a team that's been a surprise to be able to see where they are this late in the season, and a lot of that is because of what the brow is doing there.
Listen, I want to give some other people on the Pelicans credit for a moment. Drew Holiday has been really good after we didn't know which way his career was going to go after dealing with some injuries. Rajon Rondo has been better for them than I ever thought. I didn't understand that signing this offseason. He has been good for them. But the story, of course, has been Anthony Davis. And just look at what he's done during this 9-game winning streak, because the numbers are off the charts. He's giving you almost 38 a game with almost 15 rebounds a game, almost 3 blocks a game. I mean, so what, 38, 15, and 3 has been an average game over the last month for this guy, shooting, what, 53% and 41%. So he's been spectacular, which only speaks to how good Harden's been all year, because, no, he can't catch James Harden. James Harden is the NBA's leading scorer by 3 full points. He's top 3 in the NBA in assists, and as CeCe mentioned, they have the best record. Now, as an added bonus that maybe shouldn't help Harden but will, he's been the runner-up 2 out of the last 3 years. Like, the voters are not going to make it to where James Harden has an argument that he should have won 3 of the last 4 MVPs, and he has 0 of the last 4 MVPs. Now, what this could mean for Anthony Davis, that he's a guy who goes into next season as the guy everyone's talking about as potential MVP, the way, by the way, Kawhi Leonard was going into this year. Kawhi Leonard had a top 3 finish last year, went into this year with momentum prior to the injury. So that could be it for Anthony Davis. But no, he's not going to catch Harden in the MVP.
But again, look what he's done for the Pelicans without Boogie Cousins in the lineup.
It's unbelievable.
Very, very
top
impressive.
4 seed in the West right now.
All right, new topic, new words. Muhammad Wilkerson is expected to meet with the Packers today. The team notorious for not dipping into the free agent pool is now dipping into the said free agent pool. Wilkerson has spent the last 7 seasons with the Jets, the last 2 of which have seen his production decline. CeCe, do the Packers' pursuit of Wilkerson signal a more aggressive approach by them in free agency? We haven't seen this from them a lot in the last couple of seasons.
No, it just, remember, to me, it's just one guy getting on an airplane. I mean, if they don't sign him, what does it mean? It don't mean nothing. I mean, do they need free agent help? Yes. Do they need to go out doing business a little bit different than they've done in the past? Yes, because this window that they have with Aaron Rodgers, you have to take advantage of it. And you're going to have to play some type of defense. I believe they'll get their offense squared away with Aaron being back, being healthy. I believe their wide receivers will be back playing at an elite level. But defensively, how are they going to be able to attack the teams in the NFC and their quarterbacks, break down the pressure in the pocket, take them out of their running game, and be able to have a barrage of 5 to 7 guys on the defensive front that can get after the quarterback? That's what Philadelphia did. Can Green Bay get into that class by having someone like Wilkerson? Yes. He's got a lot of football left in him, but if you don't sign him, to me, it don't mean nothing. It's just another guy taking an airplane flight, free agent trip to Green Bay.
It's noteworthy to me only because under the previous regime, not many guys took free agent flights to Green Bay because Green Bay wasn't very interested in participating in free agencies. We've talked about a lot, but I do want people to understand, even though Green Bay didn't sign a lot of free agents, it doesn't mean Green Bay has a ton of cap space this year. They're 25th in the league in cap space. That's despite having Aaron Rodgers on a bargain deal, a deal that pays him $20 million for this year and next, and they've already talked about whether or not he's going to get a new deal. They have 3 wide receivers this coming year, and Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, and Devontae Adams, who are all going to make north of $10 million. Like, I don't know if that's given the player's talent and given that ability. The Devontae Adams deal where they give him $30 million guaranteed, that's going to hamstring them a bit. They have a linebacker, Nick Perry, who's making over $10 million a year, and I don't think people look at Nick Perry as an elite player. So the new regime in the front office there is going to have to find its way through some of the cap troubles that the previous regime has put them in, despite not going out and signing these high-priced free agents. Now, I don't think Muhammad Wilkerson would be a super expensive player. I don't think he'd be a $15 million a year defensive lineman. So maybe they could sign him, but they're not going to be able to do some major team makeover this offseason.
Well, take salary cap space out of it just for a second. Besides the quarterback position, where do you think the Packers need to improve the most?
Their offensive line. They got to be able to get a consistent running game. Did they get that with Aaron Rodgers? Because they did find a guy who they gave a lot of carries to. Are they able to maintain that? Can they get after the quarterback? Can they get the quarterback on the ground? If you can't pressure the quarterback, it becomes hard. And then Aaron Rodgers, man, keep him healthy. If you can keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, there is nothing more important in Green Bay than that.
The offensive line, I think it needs to be better. I think it's going to have to be those guys playing better. David Bakhtiari, they gave him a big deal. That Brian Bulaga's got a big deal. Like, they've spent a lot of money on the offensive line to not have an elite offensive line. Where they haven't spent money is the running back position. They had Aaron Jones playing it this year. He looks like a good player. He's obviously on a rookie deal. Ty Montgomery, who they switched over from wide receiver 2 years ago. But yes, when's the last time Green Bay had an elite pass rusher? Like, what's the last guy we remember? I know Clay Matthews was a very good player, but I think he was a pass rushing linebacker. That's not all he did. But a D lineman that you're like, wow, that's a guy you got to double team. That's a guy that can get you double-digit sacks.
Last time they participated in free agency, they went out and got Julius Peppers.
Right? Like, I mean, that's the last guy, and it's been a long time since that was the case. So I would agree. That would be their biggest need. Muhammad Wilkerson, more of maybe a run stuffer than that position for them.
Again, just a visit, nothing else to it. Hey, guess who's going to stop by here after this? Villanova head coach Jay Wright. We're going to talk some more Big East tournament right around the corner next on First Things First.
Best dressed man in sports, our friend Jay Wright. I think it's his 3rd appearance on the show.
I'm in damn sports.
Yeah, he's better dressed than you.
Are you crazy?
No, I'm not crazy.